All right, have and have not fans. So first off, wow. Team of Rivals, guys. Tuesday night was a trip. The fact that the internet is still talking about this episode, well, in particular, the fact that David pimp slapped that bitch. It is, the memes are out there. There are gifs. There are just people. David, I need to do a video, like a top 10 video with the top internet reactions to David slapping Veronica. You know, the top memes, the top comments from David knocked Veronica so hard that she went to another network, or David knocked her so hard that Veronica flew into my couch. I've seen so much stuff, so I'm definitely doing a video on that. But first off, to new subscribers, welcome to the channel. I hope you hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss out on any of my new content. That's why you should also hit the bell notification icon. And just a quick apology. I don't usually delay my episode reviews. But first off, if you haven't done so already, I posted like a 45-minute video with my thoughts on if David was wrong for slapping Veronica. That video, my gosh, I think at this point it's almost over 14 or 15,000 views. And I posted that barely a day ago. Like I spent 3 hours working on that video, and my gosh, the comments, there are over 300 comments. People are going back and forth. It's like the fan base is split over if David was wrong, or the fact that it took him long enough to slap that Ice Queen. I'm not even going to say, simple bitch. Yeah, so there's that. Secondly, it is Thursday afternoon, well, Thursday evening when I'm recording this. This morning, I woke up around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I'm like, you know what? I know I got a crap ton of videos to record, so before I just sit down in the chair and just be confined to my apartment, my room as usual, I took a nice drive, an hour drive to my hometown, because I'm only an hour away from where I grew up. You know, I went to the barber shop, browsed around Walmart, went to GameStop, spent like $170 on stuff, but it was clearance stuff, you know, stuff I would look through and put on eBay or just have for collectibles. Went to the Amish bakery in town. I even went home for a little bit. Nobody was there because I forgot everybody else was at work. So I stopped by the house, got a couple books, you know, I haven't read in a while. And yeah, I enjoyed my day. It was a nice day to be outside. So all that, I spent like maybe 2.5 hours driving today to and from, and, you know, all the stops along the way. That gave me a nice chance to unplug from technology, not being in front of my computer all day or editing, responding to comments and this and that. And it really gave me clarity on a few things regarding the show. So this is a longer intro than usual, I know, but keep in mind that on Wednesday night, I did like a 30-minute live stream talking about the episode itself. So this episode review, if you tuned into that live stream, not too much is going to be different from that. I'm just kind of going over the notes. I actually got 2 pages of notes from the episode. Don't worry, for all y'all worried about theory videos and whatnot, I got at least a dozen to get done before next week. That's why the Veronica getting slapped, that video had to come out first. Because despite the fact that this episode had so much going down, this was the thing people could not and have not stopped talking about. Okay, so that's why the Veronica getting hit video came out first. Now, there is a video. I'm going to give you a little insight here. I'm going to be doing a video before the next episode because it looks like the finale is coming out on July 24th. So sadly, we aren't getting an episode on July 31st. I was hoping for 3 full months of the haves and the have-nots, but you know, 24th is better than I guess 12 is better than nothing. The finale episode is called The Road to Hell, and the episode before that is Till Death Do Us Part. Guys, I'm going to make a bold prediction now, and I will be doing a video covering this topic with my reasons. I think Veronica is going to die. I think Veronica is going to die in the finale for this season. I know, before you curse me out in the comments, Jeremy, that's crazy. She's the star of the show. I want to quit watching if she dies and all this other stuff. I urge you to wait until I release that video. I don't have a release date because, as I said earlier in this video, I have a lot of recording to do. This is the first video I'm sitting down to record today. Of course, then I'm doing my episode trailer for Smitten. then I want to get into my discussion slash theory video. So just know I do have a video coming called well, I don't know what I'm going to call it, but I'll just say like Veronica is going to die in the finale or something like that. But be on the lookout for that. Okay, so sorry for the 5-minute introduction, but basically to get into the episode, I give it an 8 out of 10. An 8 out of 10, despite the ending being something I didn't even expect. Something that someone pointed out to me on one of my live streams was if you go to like TV Guide and look at the episode synopsis for each episode that's released, anytime they say something in the synopsis, that's usually the cliffhanger ending. Like, what was it the episode before? Crap. What was it? Justin tells Jeffrey shows Jeffrey how serious he is about being in love with him, hence the guns to the forehead. For Team Arrivals, Veronica pushes David to a point he didn't even know he had. And the funny thing about it is, typically, but not always, whenever something is released in the episode synopsis, that detail is not in the trailer for that episode. That's very interesting. So the trailer for Smitten, actually the synopsis for the episode Smitten says Charles finds out that Landon has ulterior motives. Funny enough, Charles and Landon aren't anywhere to be seen in the promotional stuff for Smitten next week. But let me just talk about why I'm giving this episode an 8 out of 10 instead of like a 9.5 or a 10. I feel this episode was weak in some parts because it actually showed us some of the dumber aspects of characters in previous episodes. Number one, I'm sick of Justin, guys. I am sick of Justin, this Jeffrey thing. And before you go at me in the comments about Jeremy, you're a homophobe, and what about that video? Was the Justin Jeffrey sex scene necessary? If it was two women together, or what about David and Erica, or Jim and Gia? You wouldn't say anything about that. Like, I'm still getting flack for that video today, and I really don't care because that video is doing extremely well, already over 52,000 views. So thank you. But this isn't because they're gay or anything. It's just I feel this. Not even relationship, this obsession is just ridiculous. I feel like anytime Justin and Jeffrey show up in the episode, it throws off the dynamic of the episode. Like, just like last week, Sugar Mama. The episode was actually pretty good, but then it feels like Justin is just being forced into the story. Am I the only one that feels this way? Like, not saying aside from hating the character, but I just feel like I feel like Justin is being forcibly pushed into the story. Like, the episode itself is it doesn't flow with the episode. It's like the episode has its ups and downs, but there's a consistent story going on, but then Justin has to pop up with some dramatic shit. It's like, I'm going to put guns to our heads, and then I want to, hey, don't go back to the condo because I tore it up. When Jeffrey got back to the condo, it looked like he left his pet bull a rock while out of the cage, and it tore up the entire place when he was gone. And then we find out that Justin really only did that so Jeffrey would come to the house or the place he has for them together. And it's just like, are you really serious right now? And don't worry, I'm going to talk about the fact that Jeffrey punched him. That's coming. But is like, get out of here. This hurts, Jeffrey. This really hurts. Get the hell out, Justin. Ain't nobody thinking about you. Guys, I'm sorry, but I cannot with this guy. I literally cannot with this guy. It's stupid. To me, it is ridiculous. And in the next, and I really was going to save this for the trailer for Smitten, but it looks like next week David goes over to the condo. Justin shows up again, so I'm guessing he either followed Jeffrey, because I doubt he would walk in there with David in there as well. So Justin probably shows up again after Jeffrey told him not to come back. So we know. And then David says, son, is this really what you want? If Jeffrey defends Justin or says, Dad, I can handle it, you know what, I'm throwing my hands up on Jeffrey too, in terms of, you know what, I don't even care. But at the same time, I know that if Jeffrey decides not to do anything about Justin, then we're going to see more of Justin in the future episodes, and that's just bullcrap. So basically, I'm just done with the Justin storyline. Hell, Jeffrey should have had more people come in with a straight jacket for him, because I'm just done with that character. Oh, and you know what? One more thing before I switch topics from Justin to the next phase of the episode. If you notice, he really can't pull off the crazy like Veronica. I'm probably going to do a separate video about this as well, but have you noticed that it looks like they're trying to set it up so the Jeffrey and Justin arc is supposed to like parallel the Veronica and David story this season, but for me it's not really working because Veronica pulls off the Jekyll and Hyde thing a lot better, and hell, even Veronica said this season in what was it, Veronica's house, when she was outside of her house yelling at David and Erica, it's like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm crazy and sane at the same time. At least she's self-aware. With Justin, it's like he knows he's crazy, but come on, dude. It's like, how are you going to pull guns on somebody and then call them hostile when they knock your ass in the face? And I'm sorry, Jeffrey. It's like it's hard to tell. He's only been on this series for a couple of seasons, but him saying I'm sorry, I'm guessing is supposed to be similar to David just apologizing to Erica over and over again because his crazy ex-wife is doing all this stuff and he's doing nothing about it, whereas Justin is doing all this crazy stuff to Jeffrey, but I'm sorry. And it's like, you're mine, but I'm not saying I own you, but you're mine. Yeah, just that video's coming, guys. Okay, let's switch over to another part of the episode I didn't like. So I believe that Mitch said the guy at the bar, his name was Vic. I believe so we got Mitch Malone, Vinny Malone, and this dude named Vic. So we don't know if he's a Malone or not, but we know he just works at the Iron Bone bar, which is obviously like a Malone establishment, I guess is the best way to put it. Did you see how this dude is going to act all beaten up and confused and like, you know, Benny pulled a number on him? He just knocked your ass to the floor. It just kills me with this, no pun intended. It's just like the fact that he was on the phone saying that he saw Benny kill Vinny and just racial profiling and all this crap. And then Mitch runs over obviously concerned about his uncle. And he's like, did you call the cops? The cops, it took them like an hour to get here. And when they came, they didn't even come inside. So I'm just like, okay, this is a problem. I'm going to guess that Vic Malone, I'm going to guess that Vic isn't a Malone. I'm just going to guess that because remember after Warlock was killed in the bar, well, I'm going to say allegedly killed when he got shot because damn, all these characters who seem like they're dead just magically come back to life. So let's just say when Warlock and his crew got shot, let's just say that because hell, I bet Warlock's going to pop up in next season. Watch Warlock 2019. Shoot, I'm sorry. That's another party episode I'll get to. But basically, Mitch is dumbfounded that, you know, okay, he has a pulse. Nobody checked on him. Okay, so this guy, Vic, is just going to sit around at the bar acting like he got bashed up by Benny, but didn't even take a moment to check to see if freaking Vinny was alive. So allegedly he still has a pulse. But okay, guys, this goes back to the episode. I forgot the title of the episode, but it was the one where Wyatt stabbed him in the throat with the broken glass. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Vinny said, I think this was around midnight when the bartender convinced Vinny to give Wyatt the drugs. And he's like, yeah, when the bank opens up, I can get the money out of the ATM and everything because I went over my limit today. And then Vinny's like, okay, if you ain't got my money, I'm going to F you up. So excuse me, I'm sorry. I doubt that Vinny would let Wyatt just be strung out all night, all day, and not even try to wake him up until the next afternoon or evening. Because at the same time, well, I wouldn't even say the same time, but the episode made it seem like the events at the bar where Wyatt's calling his parents, and then in the episode, Hannah gets off of work from Catherine's house at 6 p.m. because Derek met her outside with the flowers, said she was going home to fix dinner for Benny, not breakfast, because even Jim came over to Catherine's house that morning after freshening up for that night with Gia, even though nothing happened, because remember, she put something to drink to knock him out, and then she was crying and he ran off because it's like, I ain't got time for this. And that's when Wyatt was woken up by Vinny to check the machine, but the ATM wasn't working for him because he has no money in the account. And basically from there, we know that the situation with Vinny being stabbed in the neck with the glass and bleeding out on the floor, and then Jim showing up after Wyatt attempts to clean. That all happened that morning, which is weird because that night Wyatt leaves the house to go back to his condo or whatever. Catherine goes over, then she goes back to the house. So all these events happen within the same day. So are you telling me that Vinny got stabbed that morning and was bleeding out until that night, and he still has a pulse? I'm just done with the whole Tyler Perry. Like, look, if you watch like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, then you know Thor's brother Loki, how many times he's quote unquote died but revived. But that's like comic book logic. I mean, even when a character dies on screen, off screen, they'll find a way to come back. But in terms of Tyler Perry, we've seen this with Vinny, Oscar. Hell, I thought Oscar got overdosed. And then freaking Wyatt a few seasons ago overdosed, and he was thought to be dead. So what is up with the characters in this show? And then moving back to Mitch going to confront Benny. Now, Mitch is one of my favorite characters, and I get that he's in his emotions right now. But my God, that was one of my least favorite scenes of the episode. Benny even admitted to being stupid, which is amazing because we've been saying that all season. So my problem with this is that Benny was being blamed for the entire situation. Like, the only thing that Mitch is what I agree on, because I've said this videos, Mitch constantly said not to deal with his family. And that's the only thing I agree with. Like, him coming up with the situation in his mind, like, I think you went down there to return the money, but my uncle, no, he wouldn't accept it. So when he started to rough you up, you didn't want that. So you decided to, get rid of him. That way you wouldn't have to pay back the money. So honestly, that makes sense. But the problem with that is you heard Vic's story, and then I believe it was said that, he's in, let me see if I get, St. Claude, the name of the hospital that he's in critical condition in, and that's the same place that Wyatt's in, the psych ward. So basically, just a side note, remember when Wyatt was ducking away from the window when he saw Vinny being taken into the hospital? Didn't that remind you a few seasons ago of when Benny and Hannah brought Quincy Jr. to the hospital after Benny found him at Quita's house, and they were sitting in the waiting room, and then Quincy limped by, and it was like a ghost walking by, because this was after, Benny set up the truck to flip over, and then he drugged Quincy out into the street, beat him up, left drugs on him for the cops. The cops came back, found nothing. Surprisingly enough, Quincy somehow drugged his beaten and battered body from the middle of the street to the woods, and then somehow got to the hospital himself. I don't know. Again, Tyler Perry logic here. But basically, I think Mitch was saying that, he was saying that he heard that the guy knew a Malone. So basically, we can assume that Vinny heard some of the dialogue that Benny was saying to Vic when he was being held at gunpoint. Because remember, he's like, let me get my phone. I'll call his nephew. You don't know any Malones. And what if he heard Jim and Wyatt there? I wonder if that happened as well. It's just crazy. I can't really put this together because it doesn't make sense to me. I don't really know how this works in terms of these characters somehow surviving these vital strikes to the vital areas on the body. So basically, Mitch and Benny have a falling out. Benny asks for help, and Mitch is like, you're on your own. If he dies, you're dead. If you're lying, you're dead. And then he's like, lay low. Don't go out anywhere. How long do I got? I don't know, man. So yeah, he's on his own. We knew something like this might happen, but even though Benny is an idiot this season, I just hate him going out like that because he didn't do what everybody thinks he did. That's my problem with this. And the fact that Mitch didn't even give his friend the benefit of the doubt. It reminds me of Celine and Hannah back in season 1. Remember how Celine and Hannah were good friends, but then Celine got paranoid because she thought Hannah was moving in on her territory with Jim. That's why those two had a falling out. So the fact that Mitch thinks that Benny had a hand in his uncle being in critical condition, that's why those two had a falling out, and it's ridiculous. And also, I hate the fact that he threw it on Benny. It's like, you didn't even go over to check on him. You didn't call the 911, the hospital, or check for a pulse. I wish Benny would have said, I yelled for help to see if there was anybody in the back, and as soon as the guy came out, I was held at gunpoint. So, screw you, Mitch. Screw you. And not much to talk about on the Wyatt situation. It's just kind of sad though, because Wyatt being in the psychiatric ward and being institutionalized, that's exactly what Catherine wanted for Amanda. And if Jim had, I wish Catherine would have acted on her own like she's been doing recently. Doing things either without Jim knowing it or without, I don't even want to say permission, but at the same time doing something regardless as to what Jim thought about it. Because if she had done that, Amanda would still be alive today. I still say that I wish Amanda didn't get killed off. She could have been temporarily written off as from a starring role to like a recurring role or something like that. Like every so often, one of her family members would come to visit her at the psych ward or something like that, as opposed to her just being killed off the way she was, which we still don't have much information on her murder, not suicide, but murder. But that maybe that'll come next season in 2019. Who knows? I mean, the fact that the bullets have finally been brought up after all this time, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, not much to say here. Jeffrey comes in and, yo, man, how you going to put me in here then leave? And yeah, really not much to say about that. I mean, he's paranoid, which is true, but to be honest, he wasn't lying about, killing a guy. Thankfully, he isn't dead, but maybe that's a bad thing. Yeah, I might as well just jump to the scene between Catherine and Jim. Literally the same thing here. Catherine going on and on about how Wyatt needs to pay for his crime. At the same time, it's like, Catherine, please don't act like a self-righteous murderer. It's just like, you did, and I'm not saying that the murders were right, but when you compare the two, Wyatt, just like Benny in the sense that, he got himself in the situation he was in, Wyatt got himself into the situation that he was in with owing Vinny the money. So that's a fact. But his murder, and I say murder, basically just put it this way, the act of Wyatt inflicting injury on someone else, let's just say that because he didn't kill Vinny, that was done in an act of self-defense, because Vinny was going to kill him, even though I really don't know why he didn't just shoot him instead of beat him around, but whatever. Maybe Malones do things differently. But Catherine literally shot Jennifer like, 5 or 8 times just because Jennifer refused to return Wyatt's inheritance money, because she knew as a mother that Wyatt would literally destroy himself with the money, which we know to be a fact. So, yeah. I don't really see anything Catherine says. I really don't, unless she comes forward with her crime as well. I don't want to hear her talking about what to do with Wyatt. And then Jim is like, you're not going to do shit, Catherine. You know how much shit I've been through to keep you from behind bars? And they really dropped the S word a lot in this episode now that I think about it. And I don't know why, but even though the dynamic between those two isn't perfect as a husband and wife, I just love the scenes between Catherine and Jim. Because Jim is an asshole, but at least he's self-aware, It'll be different if he tries to act like a little angel, but he knows he's not, and he takes pride in that. It's just like Candace. I'm talking like, before she became a pimp and a total bitch. It's like she was confident in who she was, and she knew what she was. With Jim, is kind of the same thing, and I think it's really cute when he calls Catherine Kate. I don't know. I just love that. It's just a little thing that I like about it. And then Catherine not telling Jim about Wyatt. I don't really know why she didn't tell him. I mean, yeah, I really don't know why. Let's see here. Yeah, over sheltering Wyatt. That's pretty much it. Yeah, really not. Yeah, Jim saying these damn women. I'm like, aren't you correct in that? Let's see here. Yeah, I'm trying to not gloss over everything, but I've talked about a lot of this stuff in my live stream. Okay, let's get to Gia, because I did a video a while back about her being undercover Vice. She's an informant for the feds apparently. So basically, she's undercover. Let's just put it that way. Did anybody else find it strange? I believe around the half-point mark of the episode, she was walking with some dude to the elevator, probably one of her clients or something like that. Did anybody else but me find it strange how agreeable Gia was when Candace called her? He's like, hey, call Rocky to come up to my room. Make up a story. Okay. And then calls Candace back. Okay, he's on his way. Okay, now come to my room. Okay. And I'm just like, what happened to the airheaded Gia who's asking like 50 questions instead of doing the one thing you're asked to do? What happened to that? And the reason I'm surprised is the fact that, remember, Candace says she's out of the game. And, you know, hey, I'll be around if you have any questions or need any help. Kind of like a teacher preparing the students for the final exams. Like, well, I've taught you all I can, but you know what? I've made it out of here, so bye. But you can come stop by if you need any help studying or something like that. So I don't get why Gia didn't question. It's like, wait, why do you want me? Why do you want to come in? Just do it, bitch. I was waiting for that to happen, but she was just so calm and agreeable. There was no back talk, no question. She literally just did what she was told. It wasn't until she got into the room that she started to ask 50 questions. Look, I don't do good with violence. Then you're in the wrong profession. And I'm like, yeah, Candace has a very good point about that. And I don't want to see where you're going to see what happens when people double cross me. So people are saying that Candace knows that Gia is undercover. I don't think so. I feel like, you know, this was one of those situations where RK snitched on Rocky. So for the most part, Candace can assume that Rocky or RK is going to stay in her good graces. But given the fact that Rocky betrayed her, she probably just wanted to make Gia the last loose cannon, aware that, look, if you mess with me, this is exactly what's going to happen. Now, even though I felt bad for Rocky, I felt like this scene was badly choreographed. First of all, I'm not a fan of bloody or gore to begin with, but Rocky clearly saw the damn golf club before it hit him in the head. It was just like, you know, in Rush Hour, when Chris Tucker got kicked in the face, when he walked in the room, he was like, which one of y'all kicked me?
Well, not that yellow. Which one of y'all kicked me?
You see what I mean? How Chris didn't see the kick coming from the direction it came from? The opposite was true. Rocky, like, literally, he saw the golf club before it smashed him in the head. And then the fact that he went down in one strike, like, I'm no expert. Luckily enough, I've never been hit in the face with a golf club, but something tells me that I wouldn't go down that quickly without trying to, you know, block it or fight back. And I mean, and then Candace looked like she got mostly body shots. I'm assuming that when the end of the damn golf club flew off, apparently, because she beat him up that badly, that it was a body shot, not from when she hit him upside the head. And it looked like he got hit across the body more than his actual face, but I don't know. And then, like, I made the joke in my was David wrong for hitting Veronica, the fact that it looked like freaking Sweet Baby Ray barbecue sauce. Somebody else in the comments pointed out, it's like, Jeremy, when you look at it closer, like when I looked at it, it looked more like a syrup or maple or molasses or whatever, which is ironic because not long after that, Candace was like, make me a vodka tonic, get the molasses out of your ass. I was like, oh my God, that was hilarious. But yeah, the Rocky thing, I felt bad because the dude was stumbling to get. Obviously, he was disoriented because, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't major in anatomy, but I do think in biology class it was taught that I believe our ears. I know for one fact, like, what is it? Heat escapes from the body the quickest through the ears, and also our ears are, you know, for balance or something like that. I forgot. It's been a while since that was 10th grade, folks, so I might be wrong. And yeah, the fact that he got hit upside the head, you would definitely be disoriented too. She's like, get out of here, hurry up. I'm like, ain't that a bitch? So my question is, because we know in the next episode Rocky's going to be in the hospital, thank God. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that means he's not going to die in the finale. Maybe I'll do a video about Rocky soon, but maybe that makes him exempt because he got his punishment, so to speak. But did he, when he went to the hallway, I'm not going to lie, I doubt that he was the one that called 911 in his condition. For all we know, he probably stumbled to the elevator or hell, probably passed out as soon as he got outside the room, because I'm pretty sure somebody would have seen him in that condition and called 911. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I really want to know Broderick's reaction if he ever appears again, because, you know, that was kind of his right-hand man or whatever you want to call it. So the fact that, you know, he's in critical condition. Well, yeah, he was in bad shape thanks to Candace. I wonder if he's going to act and try to, you know, get revenge or something like that. Now, and then Gia being all scared. And then Candace, you know, sat down, pulled off her heels. And the fact that the heels had red on the bottom, that was a nice touch. I don't know why, but that just made them look even sexier on her, even though I'm really not a fan of this pimp Candace. But basically, moving on to the next scene. Oh, I'm sorry. I actually skipped over this. Going back to Rocky, actually. Rocky. he calls Erica to warn her that, you know, Veronica and Candace are on the prowl and they both want her dead, which Erica says she knows. Here's the part and I'm going to combine this with what we know in the next episode, because from his hospital bed, he's going to end up calling Erica to warn her again. And I'm guessing that maybe he talks about what happened to him and Candace. Erica's like, you know, oh, well, you know, we only deal with millions and I really need this, Rocky. I can't leave now. And I'm like, girl, you are stupid. Here's my thing. Rocky literally told Erica, I'm mad at Candace because she burned me on a deal on a big payday. Now, if Rocky, who seemed to have been in Candace's good graces this whole time, got burned on a deal, then why is Erica assuming that after everything she's done to Candace, we know for a fact that she's not in her good graces? Why does she feel that Candace is going to give her a big payday as well? Because we know that David has apparently 16 million, and Veronica has like social security cards and passcodes and all this good stuff, but she's not giving it up because she doesn't want the money, because really she doesn't even need it. I believe the agreement was, you know, get that girl to break David's heart, and then I want to rip his heart from his soul and then push her out in the streets and then burn her or something like that. So basically, I don't know how Erica assumes she's going to get any money from this deal. So I always found it weird. If you look at this show's past, anytime somebody's offered a safe haven or a better option than the situation they're in, but they don't take it, they end up being either killed off or, you know, in a worse position than where they were offered. Like, they didn't take that olive branch when it was extended to them. And that's pretty much how I feel about the Rocky situation. Like, look, we got this thing going on at the hotel where we got these girls. You ought to come back in. Yeah, I'm not 21 anymore, Rocky. I'm good where I am. And I'm like, all right, fine. You know what? Fine, go ahead. But honestly, kind of like Justin, even though I'm not as fed up with Erica as Justin, I just don't really see her need on the show anymore. This isn't, I'm not saying that I dislike Erica. I just don't see why she's on the show, to be honest. Like, I don't even know why she was still alive. You know, when Mitch told Mama Rose, like, yeah, let her live. But basically, I also found it ironic that if Erica would have waited a few more minutes to call Rocky back, then David was going to wake up and leave anyway because he got the phone call from Jeffrey. Did I wake you? No, I reached over and you weren't there. And I'm like, damn, David, come on now. And then, you know, Jeffrey calls in panic, tells him what happened. Well, not the full story. And this is where we get to the part where we're leading up to the slap. So basically, David calls Veronica in a rage, who's obviously having fun with him probably doing helicopter in the bed. I don't know what he was doing. But yeah, so, you know, mocking David. And I love how RK pulled a me in terms of like trying to imitate David. Leave my son alone. It's like, no, I'm not a young boy. I'm a full man. I'm all man over here. And, you know, Veronica's just been, you know, say what you want about Veronica, but she's been I can tell that Angela was having the time of her life for the past few episodes, pretending to be drunk, having all these young men running around the house and all this other stuff. And yeah, after everything, you know, her and RK haven't even had sex. It looks like, you know, I like to study my prey before I strike. Well, I like to bite back. This could be interesting. So basically, you know, it's Veronica trying to figure out what RK has to offer. You know, then they go out by the pool. I'm not going to lie. Some people found it odd that Veronica had a cigar, but for some reason it looked a little sexy when she was doing it. Maybe it was trying to portray the fact that she's in control. You know, she's the one in the power seat. She's the quote unquote man in this relationship. If you follow me with that, she's the one that's running the show. But, you know, RK being a little greedy kid behind the scenes stealing stuff, I wonder how that's going to play out. But basically, David in a rage goes over. So I'm assuming that David doesn't even go to Jeffrey's his condo to check on Jeffrey. He literally goes straight to Veronica in a rage. And, you know, it's kind of funny. It's like, look, if you come over, you better bring a condom because you messing with that nasty ass whore. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, Veronica still has the one-liners and I love it. It was great. It was definitely great. Let's see here. Really trying to figure out where David got that car from. Did he already have that car? I thought Veronica burned up all the vehicles. So did he somehow get this car after the fire marshal came over? The one that recognized Erica? You know, when the fire department came to put out the flames and then they, you know, trying to follow a report. Did he just instantly buy a car that night or something? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because they had some money, but I just found that a bit odd. And then Erica's, looking through the window. I'm like, yeah, girl, if you would have waited just a couple more minutes, you could have had a full conversation with Rocky without trying to hide. So there was that. So I'm looking through my notes here. Yeah, we're almost done. I know this review is a bit longer, but I feel like I had more ad libs along the way. Let's just get to the slap. Let's get to the slap. So basically, we know that David went over to the house in a rage for the wrong reason, but I could not help but laugh because you set my cars on fire. And then she looks over at RK and smiles. Yeah, I did that. And then you ransacked my condo. No, I don't. I ain't do that. Okay. And then we get to the slap. Now, I don't think he slapped her because of the condo situation. It was the point of David was just tired of everything that Veronica, it isn't about, because I think David's like, you know what, if you want to take it out, take your best shot at me or whatever, but leave Jeffrey out of this. And, I don't want our son acting like a little girl. It's like him being gay. No, I don't want that. And it was funny because if you notice it, David was like, I think David's like, Jeffrey is gay. And that was pretty much the end of the conversation. Anytime that G word is mentioned, that will shut Veronica up. And I love how he hung up the phone, but she clearly kept going on and on about, I don't want to be in this bed with a young man, but oh, there he is. It was crazy. But basically, Veronica was pushing David, like literally pushing him to the breaking point. I mean, do I agree with what happened? Well, I want to be honest. Number one, this should have happened a long time ago. And to be honest, David might have wanted to step up a long time ago to prevent it from going this far. So even though Veronica definitely got a little taste of what she deserved, yes, I said it. I do feel she got a little taste of what she deserved. I just feel like everybody had a hand in this. I'm not blaming Jeffrey because, if he's gay, then he's gay. That's it. Veronica's the one that didn't want to accept it. I just feel like David should have taken... how David literally has been a meek, quiet lamb for several seasons before he finally stepped to Veronica? Just like Jeffrey. And I believe in that episode was enough. I know what was the episode finale of season 1? No More Hiding. The episode title, that's when he came out. And then there was the season finale of, was it season 3, Enough is Enough? That was the one where he came over and told Veronica off. And then she set the house on fire. Yeah, that was the episode she got Benny out of jail and then had sex with him for the first time. And then that's when Jeffrey left the house in a rage and she was like, what are we going to name this damn baby? But basically, yeah, David slapped the mess out of her. And I'm not going to talk about it too much because I did a 45-minute video talking about that slap. I feel like that slap was just all the built up anger, but also the fact that, what you going to do? I'm tired of you, all these damn threats. You ain't doing nothing, David. And then literally she kept pushing him. Like, he grabbed her in rage and tried to calm her down. Did you notice that? He grabbed her, but then let her go. Put that finger up, was like, Veronica, don't you push me. And she literally started beating him and pushing him. And then he did what he did. And that was the end of that. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that. There's nothing else to say on that. And I think the last thing to talk about was the fact that at the beginning of the episode, we had Jeffrey being pushed to the breaking point when he punched Justin because he had a freaking gun to his head. Okay? It's funny how everybody's like, yeah, it's about time Jeffrey grew some balls and did that. But yet people are like, David shouldn't have hit Veronica. Okay, so Veronica didn't put a gun to David's head, but I'm not even going to go through the track record of everything this woman has done to not only her son, but her husband as well. From burning the cars to violating the restraining order multiple times, destroying property in the house, setting the damn house on fire with him asleep. So for all those people out there who's like, David is wrong for what he did, he should be ashamed, shut the hell up. Because if you're not going to condemn Veronica for everything she's done to David, then I don't want to hear shit about David being weak and pathetic for slapping her. That's the least he should have done, and he should have done that a while ago. I'm sorry for that little tangent or rant, but it's just disgusting because I feel like half the women that are saying that David shouldn't have done that, domestic violence is ridiculous, there's no reason to hit a woman. I bet those same people, the same women who are saying that about David, are women who cheered when Veronica set the house on fire with him in it, who cheered when she played a role in getting Maggie Day assassinated, who cheered when she cheated on David first by sleeping with Benny multiple times and rubbed it in his face. And I'm just going to stop right there, because you need to evaluate your situation, because some of the women who are cheering for Veronica but are shaming David, I bet y'all did some of that shit to your men in the past. You slashed tires, keyed the cars, burned the clothes like Bernadette on Waiting to Excel. So with that being said, hey, do you, boo-boo, but I don't want to hear crap on my videos about David being wrong because he slapped Veronica, but you're not saying anything about Veronica for everything she's done to both her son as well as David. So that's the end of that conversation. But I'm probably going to end up doing another video on those two later. But I feel like the last scene I didn't mention was the Hannah and Benny debate when it came to handling the situation that Benny's in right now. Yeah, because Benny's in some mess now. Usually, and I said this a couple weeks ago, like, I do not want to see, and if you hear me flipping, I'm going through my notes here on my notebook, because I got some notes on this. I don't want Hannah to regress to the old crying, yelling, screaming, shouting, praying out loud. Oh, Lord Jesus, what you got into now? This is the Hannah I don't want to see again, because it was so refreshing seeing a happy-go-lucky Hannah going back to work, getting life back on track, obviously grieving from the Quincy Jr. Ironically enough, she's doing the one thing that Candace hasn't done, which is properly grieve and have people in her life to help her. Not that Candace didn't have that, because Benny and Hannah offered an olive branch, but she just, smacked it away. And basically, even though I don't fully trust Derek, and I feel like a lot of us don't feel that, feel the same way, at least she was seemingly happy, or getting to that point where she could smile again and laugh. Now we're back to square one with her and Benny going at it constantly. Now, usually in these debates, I find it annoying because she's just nagging, and then Benny says something, and then it's like, he's disrespectful and everything. But to be fair, at least he was making some valid points. I mean, Hannah can say everything she wants about the fact that Catherine paid the hospital bills and all this stuff, but she wasn't the one that got hit. It was Benny. He was the one that got hit. I mean, say what you want to, but keep in mind, like, imagine if you were Hannah and your son got hit by her son, and not only did she try to cover it up, but remember, Catherine never admitted to Wyatt hitting Benny. Never told Hannah, never admitted. That was why the friendship has some friction in there. Because remember, in season 2, during that first half, or for a majority of the season, we never saw Hannah at the Cryer house because she was at the hospital every single day in almost every single scene. The only time she went home is when Byron was introduced and was like, look, you need to go home. You need to get some food. You need to get some sleep, so that way you can come back strong tomorrow, and he would drive her back, because at this point, Hannah was taking the bus everywhere. Now, she only went over there once because, every time she would call to try to leave a message, Celine wouldn't give the message to Catherine that, she was at the hospital and everything. And that's when Hannah went over and they had that cat fight. And that's when she got pissed off because Jim was trying to make it seem like she was crazy. Like, you didn't hear anything when Wyatt came home that night and said that he hit somebody, he killed a guy. And she was like, wait, what? And then it's like, yeah, be careful out there, Hannah. I wouldn't want anything to happen to you. And that pissed me off because he was like, are you threatening me? And then Catherine rushed out and was like, look, I gotta go. And then, eventually she called the cops. And basically, Catherine still, even after Catherine went to visit Benny at the hospital, because even they went to the back together to see him, and she was asking, what was his condition and everything. It's like, Hannah, this hospital isn't good enough. It's not going to save Benny. He can die in here. But Hannah wouldn't have any of it. And then, she took it upon herself to take Benny to Mercy Hospital. And then even then, after Catherine moved him and went over there, she still wouldn't admit that Wyatt hit Benny. So yeah, Benny has every right to be mad about the situation and worried about his mom because he doesn't trust Catherine. Now, yeah, remember how Hannah was still, unsure about what to do with Catherine, but it was the episode where Benny finally got out of bed and was walking in the hallway and everything was looking good because he had just gotten off life support. And then you saw how Hannah's face dropped when the nurse came over there to ask, you know, how did she want to pay for the hospital bills? And it's like, do you have a mortgage or anything? It's like, well, we don't have insurance, but maybe I can mortgage my house or something. And then the doctor came, oh, don't worry about the bills. Mrs. Cryer already took care of it. So, yeah, I can see why Benny would say that it's probably hush money, even though we know it was something that was done out of the goodness of her heart because she cares about her friend. So Benny is right. But Benny, you really shouldn't call your mom out for, you should just get another job when you haven't even lifted a finger to work. Now, say what you want about Hannah being a hypocritical Christian and condescending to her kids and all this stuff. At least she never resorted to doing what Candace and Benny have done for money, being Candace sleeping around and Benny doing the same, even though he didn't get paid for it, so to speak. He borrowed money from the freaking mob or a gangster, whatever you want to call it. So at least she's never done that. That's why I said that it was bad writing for Benny to instantly go to Mitch or the Malones in episode 1 of the season. I think it would have been better if he tried to find jobs or, you know, asked Veronica for the money, but she refused, or maybe she gave him the money but got it back after, you know, he was sleeping with Melissa, or having sex with Melissa on the couch, disrespecting her. I feel like going to the Malones should have been his last resort, something he shouldn't have done to begin with, but something where we saw Benny try every single option. And then it's like, look, Mitch, I've tried everything. I need to borrow the money from your family. I feel like that's how the writing should have went. Now, also the fact that then he brings up, you know, you treating Candace the exact same way. And it's funny, every time Benny sticks up for Candace, the next episode or two, that's when he finds out Candace screwed him over again. Because remember, he was told thousands of dollars, not millions, will be in his bank account. And that happens in the next episode, he finds out. But yeah, I mean, basically, Hannah, same story. You don't want to get help from Veronica. And I want to do a video about, you know, can Veronica be trusted? Because we know she really can't. Anything she does, there's a hidden agenda in there for her. Even when it seems like she's helping someone or something like that, there is something in the fine print of whatever situation that's going to benefit her in some way. And even though she's like, I'm going to get Catherine for help, even Catherine was like, Veronica's the best. I'm telling you, I don't want help from that devil. Hannah, it's not your choice. Just like it's not Benny's choice for who you date or where you work, it shouldn't be your choice for who he gets the legal assistance from. But to be fair, Benny doesn't have the best track record lately when making the right decisions. But at least he's finally admitting, hey, I'm an idiot. I got into this situation. I'm going to get myself out. At least he's doing that, you know, where he's taking responsibility. But, you know, I'm just hoping we don't see this every episode. And hell, even in the preview for next week, it looks like we're going to have Hannah nagging again. But, you know, there we go. But basically, this episode review is a bit longer than I expected because I thought I'll just gloss over my thoughts since I already did a live stream. But be on the lookout for my trailer breakdown of Smitten. I hope everybody had a chance to listen to this video, you know, get some of my thoughts, because as I mentioned time and time again, there are going to be videos extended from this, such as Justin and Jeffrey, maybe another David Veronica video, the Hannah Benny conversation, Vinny being alive and things like that. So be on the lookout for new content. So I hope you share this video around, comment your thoughts on the video and the episode itself. I gave it an 8 out of 10. What did you give it? And subscribe if you haven't done so already.